Mexico City, February 25, 2026. In what may be remembered as one of the most pivotal moments in Mexico's protracted battle against organized crime, Mexican security forces have confirmed the death of Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, the infamous leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, better known by his alias El Mencho. The operation, executed in the remote mountainous terrain of Tapalpa, Jalisco, on February 22nd, not only decapitated one of the world's most ruthless criminal empires, but has also unleashed a torrent of retaliatory violence across at least 20 states, plunging parts of the nation into turmoil and raising profound questions about the long-term stability of Mexico's security landscape. El Mencho, aged 59 at the time of his demise, had long evaded capture, transforming the CJNG from a regional splinter group into a transnational behemoth involved in everything from fentanyl trafficking to extortion, human smuggling, and even the theft of natural resources like oil and minerals. His death, occurring during a high-stakes raid informed by U.S. intelligence, represents a rare victory for Mexican authorities amid a drug war that has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives since its escalation in 2006. Yet, as flames from burning vehicles and blockades light up highways from Jalisco to Tamaulipas, experts warn that this decapitation strategy, targeting cartel kingpins, may exacerbate fragmentation, internal power struggles, and escalated violence rather than dismantle the organization. This comprehensive report delves deeply into the operation that felled El Mencho, his rise from humble origins to criminal overlord, the CJNG's evolution into a dynastic empire intertwined with his family, the cartel's brutal tactics and global reach, the immediate aftermath of his death, and the broader implications for Mexico's ongoing drug conflict and its ripple effects on the United States. Drawing on official statements, eyewitness accounts, expert analyses, and historical context, we explore whether this moment signals a turning point or merely the prelude to a new chapter of bloodshed. The raid on El Mencho's hideout in Tapalpa was the culmination of years of painstaking intelligence work involving close collaboration between Mexican special forces and U.S. agencies like the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. According to Mexican Defense Secretary Ricardo Trevilla, the breakthrough came from tracking one of El Mencho's mistresses, whose movements inadvertently led authorities to his secluded compound in the Sierra Madre Occidental Mountains, a region long dominated by the CJNG's iron grip. Tapalpa, a picturesque town known for its colonial architecture and ecotourism, had become an unlikely fortress for the cartel boss. Surrounded by dense forests and rugged terrain, the area provided natural defenses augmented by CJNG lookouts, armed patrols, and even improvised explosive devices, IEDs, along access roads. Intelligence reports indicated that El Mencho had been shuttling between safe houses in Jalisco and neighboring Michoacan, evading drones and satellite surveillance through a network of tunnels and decoy convoys, a tactic borrowed from his predecessors like El Chapo Guzman. The operation commenced at dawn on February 22nd with elite units from the Mexican Army's Special Forces Corps, Cuerpo de Fuerzas Especiales, and Navy Marines, Infanteria de Marina, airdropped via helicopters into the vicinity. Supported by armored vehicles and drone reconnaissance, the forces surrounded the compound, initiating a fierce firefight that lasted over 2 hours. CJNG gunmen, equipped with military-grade weapons including .50 caliber sniper rifles and rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, mounted a desperate defense. In the chaos, El Mencho was severely wounded, reports suggest by shrapnel from a grenade launcher, and captured alive, along with several high-ranking lieutenants. Tragically, El Mencho succumbed to his injuries en route to Mexico City, where he was to be interrogated and potentially extradited to the United States. The raid also resulted in the deaths of at least 25 National Guard members in subsequent clashes, underscoring the human cost of such operations. Mexican authorities seized a cache of weapons, including armored vehicles modified with anti-aircraft capabilities and millions in cash, highlighting the CJNG's quasi-military sophistication. U.S. involvement was crucial, with Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau praising the operation as a decisive strike against narco-terrorism. This collaboration echoes the Merida Initiative, a bilateral framework established in 2008 to combat drug trafficking, but it also raises questions about sovereignty and the extent of foreign influence in Mexico's internal affairs. Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes was born on July 17, 1966, in the rural municipality of Aguililla, Michoacán, an impoverished region in western Mexico known for its avocado orchards, poppy fields, and marijuana plantations. As the son of a poor farming family, El Mencho's early life was marked by hardship, with limited access to education and economic opportunities. Like many in his community, he was drawn into the illicit drug trade from a young age, initially working as a low-level cultivator and trafficker. In the 1980s, seeking better prospects, El Mencho migrated illegally to the United States, settling in California. There he became involved in heroin trafficking, leading to his arrest in 1994 for conspiracy to distribute the drug. He served nearly 3 years in prison before being deported back to Mexico. This period in the U.S. exposed him to sophisticated smuggling networks and honed his criminal acumen. Upon returning to Mexico, El Mencho joined the Milenio Cartel, a Sinaloa-affiliated group led by Ignacio Nacho Coronel. Starting as a hitman, he quickly rose through the ranks due to his ruthlessness and strategic mind. A brief stint as a police officer in Michoacán provided him with insider knowledge of law enforcement tactics, which he later used to his advantage. The turning point came in 2010 following Coronel's death in a shootout with Mexican forces. The Milenio Cartel fractured, and El Mencho, alongside Eric Valencia Salazar, L85, formed the CJNG as a breakaway faction, initially positioning themselves as Zetas Killers, Mata Zetas. To combat the rival Los Zetas cartel, they allied with Sinaloa before breaking away to pursue independent dominance. El Mencho's leadership style was defined by discretion. He avoided the flashy lifestyle of predecessors like El Chapo, rarely appearing in public and using encrypted communications. His $10 million U.S. bounty, later increased to $15 million, reflected his status as a top target, yet he eluded capture for over a decade through corruption, advanced countermeasures, and a loyal inner circle. Central to El Mencho's empire was his family, often referred to as the CJNG dynasty. His marriage to Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia in 1996 linked him to the powerful Valencia family, founders of Los Quines, the CJNG's financial and money laundering arm. Rosalinda, known as La Jefa, played a key role in managing assets, earning her a 2021 arrest for money laundering. She was released in 2025, her whereabouts unknown, but she remains a potential figurehead in succession struggles. The couple had 3 children: Ruben El Menchito Oseguera Gonzalez, Jessica Johanna La Negra Oseguera Gonzalez, and Laisha Oseguera. El Menchito, once second in command, was extradited to the U.S. in 2020 and sentenced to life in 2025 for drug trafficking and firearms offenses, removing him from contention. Jessica Johanna, a U.S. citizen born in California, handled legitimate businesses like sushi restaurants and tequila brands that laundered cartel funds. Arrested in 2020, she served 30 months for money laundering and was released in 2023. As a potential successor, her U.S. ties could complicate matters. Laisha Oseguera has been linked to cartel activities but keeps a low profile. El Mencho's stepson, Juan Carlos El-03 Valencia Gonzalez, is another contender, having served as a high-ranking commander. El Mencho's brother, Antonio Tony Montana Oseguera, was arrested in 2022 and extradited in 2026. This family-centric structure ensured loyalty, but also made the CJNG vulnerable to targeted arrests. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel emerged in 2009 from the ashes of the Milenio Cartel, a Sinaloa ally weakened by leadership arrests and internal fractures. Founded by El Mencho and L85, the CJNG initially positioned itself as an enforcer group, dubbing themselves Mata Zetas in a public campaign against Los Zetas, complete with gruesome videos of executions. By 2012, the CJNG had expanded coast to coast, leveraging Milenio's smuggling networks and adopting a franchise model, affiliating local gangs for tribute, allowing rapid growth without direct control. This structure, combined with diversification into synthetic drugs, made it resilient. Under El Mencho, the CJNG became Mexico's fastest-growing cartel, controlling key ports like Manzanillo for precursor chemicals from China. By 2020, it operated in nearly every Mexican state and had a presence in over 40 countries, rivaling Sinaloa in power. The CJNG's operations are multifaceted, with drug trafficking as the core. It sources precursors from China, synthesizes methamphetamine and fentanyl in clandestine labs, and traffics them to the U.S., earning billions. The cartel controls U.S. distribution in nearly all 50 states. Tactics include extreme violence, public executions, mass graves, and social media propaganda. The cartel uses drones for surveillance and bombings, IEDs, and armored vehicles resembling an insurgency. It coerces local populations, corrupts officials, and engages in turf wars with rivals like Sinaloa. Violence spiked in Jalisco post-emergence, with ambushes like the 2015 downing of a military helicopter. Recent conflicts include offensives in Michoacan and alliances with Sinaloa factions. The CJNG is a primary driver of the U.S. fentanyl crisis, sourcing precursors from China, producing in Mexico, and distributing across America. It earns billions, fueling overdose deaths, over 75,000 in 2025 alone. In cities like Los Angeles, CJNG meth and fentanyl have exacerbated homelessness and addiction. U.S. responses include FTO designations and operations like Plaza Spike. Mexico's drug war began in 2006 under President Calderón, deploying 96,000 troops in a kingpin strategy that captured leaders but fragmented cartels, increasing violence. Subsequent administrations shifted. Peña Nieto focused on de-escalation, López Obrador on hugs not bullets, and Sheinbaum on intelligence-led approaches. U.S. aid via Mérida has been key, but critics argue it militarizes without addressing roots like poverty. Following El Mencho's death, CJNG operatives launched coordinated attacks, burning vehicles, roadblocks, and shootouts in states like Jalisco, Michoacán, Guanajuato, and beyond. At least 25 National Guard members died, and civilians were caught in crossfire. Authorities urged shelter in place as the unrest disrupted daily life. This narco-terrorism highlights the cartel's entrenchment and capacity for disruption, potentially leading to internal fractures and rival encroachments. President Claudia Sheinbaum hailed the operation as a decisive victory, pledging to continue intelligence-driven efforts. However, critics argue that kingpin removals rarely end cartels, citing El Chapo's capture leading to more violence. The CJNG's potential splintering could intensify rivalries with Sinaloa, displacing more people and fueling migration to the U.S. Internationally, the DEA welcomes the news, but experts caution against optimism without addressing corruption and poverty. As Mexico grapples with this watershed moment, the world watches. Will El Mencho's fall herald peace or usher in a new era of chaos? This report is based on ongoing developments. Figures and analyses may evolve,